The Lord deigned other times to give me the absolution himself. Sometimes he would take the form of the priest, and I would confess as if to the priest, although I would feel different effects. And then, once it was finished, he would reveal himself as Jesus. And sometimes he would come unveiled, making himself recognized as Jesus from the beginning. At times, he would also take the form of the confessor, so much so that I believed I was speaking with him, telling him all my fears, my doubts. But from the way he had of answering me, from the gentleness of the voice, alternating between that of the confessor and that of Jesus, from his lovable trait and from the interior effects, I would discover that it was him. If I wanted to say everything about these things, I would be too long. Therefore, I finish and stop there. I remember that there was another war between Africa and Italy, and one day, about 9 months earlier, Blessed Jesus transported me outside of myself and showed me a very long road, filled with human flesh immersed in blood, which inundated that road like rivers. It was horrifying to see these cadavers exposed to the open air without anyone to bury them. All frightened, I said to our Lord, "What is this?" And he, "Next year there will be a war. They used the flesh to offend me, and I, on their flesh, want to make my just vengeances." He said other things, but the long time past does not allow me to remember. Now it happened that, after that period of time, news began to spread that there was a war between Africa and Italy. I prayed good Jesus to spare so many victims and to have pity on so many souls who were going to hell. One morning, according to the usual way, he transported me outside of myself, and I saw that almost all people were convinced that Italy was going to win. I seemed to find myself in Rome, and I could see the deputies in council among themselves on how they should carry on the war to be sure that Italy would win. They were so swollen with themselves as to arouse pity. But what impressed me the most was to see that almost all these people were sectarians, souls sold to the devil. What sad times. It really seemed that the satanic reign was reigning, and instead of placing their trust in God, they were placing it in the devil. Now, while they were in council, my blessed Jesus told me, "Let us go hear what they are saying among themselves." It seemed I was entering their circle together with him. Jesus was strolling through their midst, shedding tears over their miserable state. When they finished their counsel about the way to proceed, boasting of being sure about the victory, Jesus turned to them and, threatening them, said, "You rely on yourselves, and therefore I will humiliate you. This time Italy will lose." Now, in order to obey, I will resume what I left on page 6 of this first volume, that is, the Novena of Holy Christmas. As I moved on from the second meditation to the third, an interior voice told me, "My daughter, place your head upon the womb of my mama and look deep into it at my little humanity." My love devoured me. The fires, the oceans, the immense seas of love of my divinity inundated me, burned me to ashes, and sent their flames so high as to rise and reach everywhere, all generations, from the first to the last man. My little humanity was devoured in the midst of such flames. But do you know what my eternal love wants me to devour? Souls. And only then was I content, when I devoured them all, remaining conceived with me. I was God. I was to operate as God. I had to take them all. My love would have given me no peace had I excluded any of them. My daughter, look well into the womb of my mama. Fix well your eyes on my conceived humanity, and you will find your soul conceived with me, and the flames of my love that devoured you. Oh, how much I loved you, and I love you. I felt dissolved in the midst of so much love, nor was I able to go out of it. But a voice called me loudly, saying to me, "My daughter, this is nothing yet. Draw closer to me and give your hands to my dear Mama, that she may hold you tightly upon her maternal womb. And you take another look at my little conceived humanity, and watch the fourth excess of my love. My daughter, from the devouring love, move on to look at my operative love. Each conceived soul brought me the burden of her sins, of her weaknesses and passions, and my love commanded me to take the burden of each one of them. And it conceived not only the souls, but the pains of each one, the satisfactions which each of them was to give my celestial Father. So my passion was conceived together with me. Look well at me in the womb of my celestial Mama. Oh, how tortured was my little humanity. Look well at how my tiny little head is surrounded by a crown of thorns, which pressed tightly around my temples, made rivers of tears pour out from my eyes, nor was I able to move in order to dry them. Oh, please be moved to compassion for me. Dry my eyes from so much crying, you, who have free arms to be able to do it. These thorns are the crown of so many evil thoughts that crowd the human minds. Oh, how they prick me, more than the thorns which the earth germinates. But look again, what a long crucifixion of 9 months. I could not move a finger or a hand or a foot. I was here, always immobile. There was no room to be able to move even a tiny bit. What a long and hard crucifixion, with the addition that all evil works, taking the form of nails, repeatedly pierced my hands and feet through. And so he continued to narrate to me pains upon pains, all the martyrdoms of his little humanity, such that if I wanted to tell them all, I would be too long. So I abandoned myself to crying, and I heard in my interior, "My daughter, I would like to hug you, but I am unable to do so. There is no room. I am immobile. I cannot do it. I would like to come to you, but I am unable to walk. For now you hug me, and you come to me. Then when I come out of the maternal womb, I will come to you." But as I hugged him and squeezed him tightly to my heart with my imagination, an interior voice told me, "Enough for now, my daughter. Move on to consider the fifth excess of my love." And the interior voice continued, "My daughter, do not move away from me. Do not leave me alone. My love wants your company, another excess of my love, which does not want to be alone. But do you know whose company it wants? That of the creature. See, in the womb of my Mama, all creatures are together with me, conceived together with me. I am with them, all love. I want to tell them how much I love them. I want to speak with them, to tell them of my joys and sorrows, that I have come into their midst to make them happy, to console them, that I will remain in their midst as a little brother of theirs, giving all my goods, my kingdom, to each one of them at the cost of my life. I want to give them many kisses, my caresses. I want to amuse myself with them, but how many sorrows they give me. Some run away from me, some play deaf and force me into silence. Some despise my goods and do not care about my kingdom, and they requite my kisses and caresses with indifference and obliviousness of me. And they convert my amusement into bitter crying. Oh, how lonely I am, though in the midst of many, oh, how loneliness weighs upon me. I have no one to whom to say a word, with whom to pour myself out, not even in love. I am always sad and taciturn, because if I speak, I am not listened to. Ah, my daughter, I beg you, I implore you, do not leave me alone in so much loneliness. Give me the good of letting me speak by listening to me. Lend your ear to my teachings. I am the master of masters. How many things do I want to teach you? If you listen to me, you will stop crying, and I will amuse myself with you. Don't you want to amuse yourself with me? As I abandoned myself in him, compassionating him in his loneliness, the interior voice continued, enough, enough. Move on to consider the sixth excess of my love. My daughter, come, pray my dear Mama to make a little space for you in her maternal womb, that you yourself may see the painful state in which I find myself. So, with my thought, it seemed to me that our Queen Mama made a little room to make Jesus content and placed me inside. But the darkness was such that I could not see him. I could only hear his breathing. And he continued to say in my interior, my daughter, look at another excess of my love. I am the eternal light. The sun is the shadow of my light. But do you see where my love led me and what a dark prison I am? There is not a glimmer of light. It is always night for me, but night without stars, without rest. I am always awake. What pain! The narrowness of the prison, without being able to make the slightest movement, the thick darkness, even my breathing, as I breathe through the breath of my Mama. Oh, how labored it is. To this, add the darkness of the sins of creatures. Each sin was a night for me, and combining together they formed an abyss of darkness with no boundaries. What pain! O excess of my love, making me pass from an immensity of light, of space, into an abyss of thick darkness, and of such narrowness that I even lack the freedom to breathe, and all this for love of creatures. As he was saying this, he moaned, with moans almost suffocated because of the lack of space, and he cried. I was consumed with crying. I thanked him. I compassionated him. I wanted to make him a little bit of light with my love, as he told me to. But who can say everything? Then the same interior voice added, enough for now. Move on to the seventh excess of my love. The interior voice continued, my daughter, do not leave me alone in so much loneliness and in so much darkness. Do not go out of the womb of my Mama to watch the seventh excess of my love. Listen to me. In the womb of my celestial Father, I was fully happy. There was no good which I did not possess. Joy, happiness, everything was at my disposal. The angels adored me reverently, hanging upon my every wish. Ah, excess of my love, I could say that it made me change my destiny. It restrained me within this gloomy prison. It stripped me of all my joys, happiness, and goods to clothe me with all the unhappiness of creatures. And all this in order to make an exchange, to give my destiny, my joys, my eternal happiness to them. But this would have been nothing had I not found in them highest ingratitude and obstinate perfidy. Oh, how my eternal love was surprised in the face of so much ingratitude, and cried over the obstinacy and perfidy of man. Ingratitude was the sharpest thorn that pierced my heart. From my conception up to the last moment of my life, look at my little heart. It is wounded and pours out blood. What pain, what torture I feel. My daughter, do not be ungrateful to me. Ingratitude is the hardest pain for your Jesus. It is to close the doors in my face, leaving me numb and cold. But my love did not stop at so much ingratitude. It took the attitude of supplicating, imploring, moaning, and begging love. This is the eighth excess of my love. My daughter, do not leave me alone. Place your head upon the womb of my dear Mama. For even from the outside you will hear my moans, my supplications. And seeing that neither my moans nor my supplications move the creature to compassion for my love, I assume the attitude of the poorest of beggars, and stretching out my tiny little hand, I ask, for pity's sake, at least for alms, for their souls, their affections, and their hearts. My love wanted to win the heart of man at any cost, and in seeing that after 7 excesses of my love he was reluctant, he played deaf, he did not care about me, nor did he want to give himself to me, my love wanted to push itself further. It should have stopped, but no, it wanted to overflow even more from within its boundaries. And even from the womb of my mama, it made my voice reach every heart. And with the most insinuating manners, with the most fervent pleas, with the most penetrating words. And do you know what I said to him? My child, give me your heart. I will give you everything you want, provided that you give me your heart in exchange. I have descended from heaven to make a prey of it. Oh, please do not deny it to me. Do not delude my hopes. And in seeing him reluctant even more, many turned their backs to me. I passed on to moans. I joined my tiny little hands, and crying, with voice suffocated by sobs, I added, I am a little beggar, and even as alms do you want to give me your heart? Is this not a greater excess of my love, that the Creator, in order to approach the creature, takes the form of a little baby so as not to strike fear in him, and that he asks for the heart of the creature, at least as alms, and in seeing that he does not want to give it, he supplicates, moans, and cries. When I heard him say to me, and you, don't you want to give me your heart? Perhaps you too want to make me moan, beg, and cry for you to give me your heart. Do you want to deny me the alms that I ask of you? And as he was saying this, I heard him, as though sobbing, and I, my Jesus, do not cry. I give you my heart and all of myself. Then the interior voice continued, move further and pass on to the 9th excess of my love. My daughter, my state is ever more painful. If you love me, keep your gaze fixed on me. To see if you can offer some relief to your Jesus. A little word of love, a caress, a kiss will give respite to my crying and to my afflictions. Listen, my daughter. After I gave 8 excesses of my love and man requited me so badly, my love did not give up. And to the 8th excess, it wanted to add the 9th. And this was the yearnings, sighs of fire, flames of desire, for I wanted to go out of the maternal womb to embrace man. And this reduced my little humanity, not yet born, to such an agony as to reach the point of breathing my last. And as I was about to breathe my last, my divinity, which was inseparable from me, gave me sips of life. And so I regained life to continue my agony and return again to die. This was the 9th excess of my love, to agonize and to die of love continuously for the creature. Oh, what a long agony of 9 months. Oh, how love suffocated me and made me die. Had I not the divinity with me, which gave me life again every time I was about to finish, love would have consumed me before coming out to the light of day. Then he added, look at me, listen to me, how I agonize, how my heart beats, pants, burns. Look at me, now I die. And he remained in deep silence. I felt myself dying. My blood froze in my veins, and trembling, I said to him, my love, my life, do not die. Do not leave me alone. You want love? I will love you. I will not leave you ever again. Give me your flames to be able to love you more and be consumed completely for you.